world isn't making sense to you right now, hang out for just about 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Don't scroll away. If you've been wondering what's going on with society and AI behind the scenes, I'm going to tell you right here. But I can't tell you in 2 seconds, so do not scroll away, listen, and I'll give it to you quickly. There are 5 things going on behind the scenes, and those 5 things are: number 1, why you want to fundamentally reject AI, and number 2, why things seem very, very strange. Okay, let's begin with Elon Musk. Elon Musk's algorithm is based on 5 things. Number 1, question every requirement. 2, delete anything that is unnecessary. Number 3, simplifies what remains. 4, accelerate what remains. And number 5, automate. Strangely, this is exactly how AI works. Number 1, it analyzes the input. 2, strips out all the irrelevant features. 3, optimizes models. 4, iterates it faster. And 5, automates decision making and everything involved. They both start with destruction before building. In order to rebuild something, they're not going to add on to it. They want to destroy it, knock it down, and then build something new. That is exactly what AI is doing and why you're rejecting it. Because in order for AI and everything surrounding it to take place in society, it's got to wreck, destroy, rebuild, reformat, and reteach everything that you've been brought up with in the last 40 or 50 plus years. That's why fundamentally you reject it. Subconsciously, you're like, I don't like where this is going, especially when it starts with destruction. So, we are Gen X, and we're going to push back. Why? Number 1, we've seen this before, and we've got to ask the question, what is the trade-off? And right now, nobody's talking about the trade-off. They're talking about the wonderful things that AI does, but only me is over here talking about, yeah, it's a great thing, but there's going to be a trade-off. 2, who does this benefit? There is an entire tech divide coming. We saw this in the 80s when we made fun of the nerds and we ended up working for the nerds, and now the nerds run the world. This is about to get far worse. It's going to come to a point where you won't even be able to understand the majority of your office and business processes without understanding at least a little bit of Python and certainly a bit of Agentics. That's just how it's going to be. Next. We want to know what happens. We get lost in the name of optimization, right? If everything becomes gotta earn a profit year after year after year after year, that's impossible. That means you're always going to get to a point where there's nothing left. It's running on fumes. That's what we don't like. We are used to growing from seed to harvest. They want to take it and just destroy everything and create a whole new definition of the word harvest. We've seen this from both sides. The left, when they're using, anti-authoritarianism, and the right, when they're using authoritarianism. Everybody wants to do the same thing that Elon wants to do. Break shit, find out what works, replicate it, and throw it back out. That's what this whole thing is about, and why fundamentally you're probably rejecting it, and the cognitive dissonance sets in. Both Musk's thinking and AI culture often devalues domain expertise. They look at things like wisdom and the things that we run. They're like, you don't need that. All we need is the data from your experience. That is a lie, and that is a lie that the tech bros believe. The thing that's going to catch them, though, is without the human experience, without the human idea of aesthetics, how do we know anything is beautiful? It all becomes crap, and they haven't figured that out yet. But we as Generation X have the wisdom and the understanding to know that expertise is what allows for the growth. You can't just tear stuff up and put stuff back together and think it's going to do better. You got to add the wisdom. And that's where we come in and why we are primed in this particular area. We balk at the destruction. You can't do anything about it. He's already wrecking shit. You get to the second level where he's stripping stuff. That's AI. What do you think comes third? All right. They prioritize speed over context. That is why you're going to lose your job to AI. It isn't that AI is better. AI can turn out utter shit. But if it's turning it out much, much faster than you can turn it out, well, for them it becomes Shinola. Some of you guys get that reference. It's kind of old. Anyway, they're always going to celebrate automation over accountability. Think about that. I turn out 1,000 things and 50 of them are wrong. I don't yell, I just adjust the algorithm and turn out another 50,000. That's what they're betting on. You can't do that with humans. All right, the cultural clash. The tech bro lens is simply this. Look, The algorithm mindset is often served with a side of arrogance. It assumes progress is linear. Progress is not linear. If you've been watching my channel, you see it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's not linear. Progress can never be linear. It's always got to be try, fail, and moving forward. They seem to think the fail part of it, we can extract it and just go forward. You can't do that. You miss a lot of the lessons. The purpose of the past is to teach us lessons so that we don't repeat them. If all we're doing is moving forward and not considering the lessons of the past other than just the raw data, we don't understand why it happened, and we're going to repeat it over and over again. And you see that happening in society on a grand scale right now. Next, it eliminates the nuance. Think about the nuance in language, things like sarcasm, the little subtle gestures and all of that kind of stuff. They're having a very difficult time emulating that. They did when we first started using text communication because they had to create emojis so that we would know when we were laughing or joking or any of the sarcasm. They're going to have to do the same thing with AI because AI is terrible at it. It's going by what it sees in the data, but it's never asking the why question. You will know we've gotten an AGI and a thinking robot when it can and starts explaining why. Not just what, but why. All right, going to celebrating, they're always going to celebrate relationships with results, right? Your relationship is only based on the result you have. I mean, that's what I do with my AI stack. When something no longer works the way I want it to, or there's a new feature or something that's on a new one, I will jettison it and bring something new into the stack. That particularly happens when it comes to price. If I find some way to eliminate something in my AI software stack that's cheaper, I'm going to eliminate it. That's exactly what's going to happen to you. If you are out of date software, they're going to eliminate you. They're not going to upgrade you. That's so expensive. It's easier to bring in a new, cheaper model, especially if it's AI. Next up, they ignore the social cost of efficiency. Understand, AIs are not human. The people that are using them, they are human, but they are using AI to eliminate the human equation. In other words, they don't care about the social cost. You are required to do X. And the data says, the data says, the data says. Not what human nature says, not what you say, not human experience. They're looking at the data says, the data says, the data says. And if you look at it and you're really thinking about it, if you are part of the data and you do not make sense, you get eliminated. That's what's going on. It is not about how fantastic tech is. It is about the thought process behind Elon and the tech bros that they have to wreck shit and then come in and strip the best parts, recreate the best parts, regenerate it and automate it as fast as and sell it back to you. It's the Disneyfication of society on crack, basically. All right, Gen X, we feel this whole thing is dehumanizing. 1, it removes the human from the loop. Even when I am doing vibe coding, I find myself telling ChatGPT, hey, take the human out of the loop. I don't want to do anything. And that's a mistake because it comes out non-human. And I'm mad, people aren't going to believe this. They're going to think it's AI. Well, I took the AI out because I made the cardinal mistake of prompting for what I was trying to achieve instead of prompting with what I was trying to achieve. What I mean by that is most of us prompt what we want to see. We don't prompt what our audience wants to see. We don't even factor that in. We're too busy. I want. So what I've started doing is I've taken my general avatar, which is about, well, I won't tell you what that is until later, but I take my gigantic, probably now 80-page prompt that represents my customer avatar, and I will feed it. I've actually got it in the memory of ChatGPT, and everything it does goes through that lens. Because I realize that I am not prompting for me, I am prompting from my audience. And the moment I start prompting from me, the only audience I'm going to have is me. Well, you hear me. Subscribe. All right. It feels dehumanizing, especially to Generation X, because it removes us from the loop. It threatens our jobs, but our identity and our purpose. I don't like to say this and remind us, but we have been programmed not to retire. Survey after survey, psychological study after psychological study shows that Americans think that retirement is working 20 hours less a week. Even those of us who talk about retirement start putting in terms like semi-retirement and, side business. No, 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 no. Your definition of retirement has got to change. We're not going to be laying around, sitting around, drinking beer, pants down to here on the shores of Florida, complaining about the government all day. That is not how we're going to spend our retirement years. We're going to spend our retirement years the way we spend all of our years, working our asses off. Even if you got money, you can't sit still. Think about what that would be like. You sitting around all day, just laid back doing nothing. That'd be great for the first couple of weeks, and then you'd be bored. And if you get bored, you got to have money to go do something. Go play. Go help the world. Don't be selfish. All right, moving on. The other issue we have is all of this process favors disruption over evolution. And there's the problem. We have been taught, even though we were taught, there's a debate over evolution. This goes beyond that. We were taught that you evolve naturally. These guys are trying to not evolve, they're trying to disrupt and shortcut and get wherever we're supposed to be going faster. Mars. The moon? Nah, we're going to go straight for Mars. That's the thinking. If I have to break, wreck, pull the essence, rebuild, and formulate it so it happens automatically to get to Mars, it doesn't matter who I crush. If you're getting crushed, it's because you're not on board with what they believe is the way society should be. So you're not being crushed, you're being stubborn in their minds. And you wonder, what's going on? This is the 5-step process. So the question is, where do you fit in that process? So when you are thinking about AI, and I'm making the argument, get in, and I'm refining that down, I'm going to make it so simple that you guys can't help but jump in here and learn. Because this isn't just a thing. This isn't just a fad. This is a recreation of society. The way the tech bros wanted it back when they were talking about hack the planet, they did not stop hacking, and they are here right now hacking the planet. You need to be aware because you are being hacked right this moment. Society has shifted into this paradigm, and you don't even see it. Open your eyes. See it now. You have to be in the right context. You have to understand that this system does not have empathy. There is no room in a system for empathy when the system starts with the complete destruction of the existing system, or as they put it, data set. If I wanted to get an entire data set of American society so I could wreck it to make it better, where would I find all that data? I have no idea. I mean, I suppose you could find it somewhere in government offices. I don't know. The data's got to be out there somewhere. Anyway, the other issue is this system has no respect for lived experience. At least, if you're not a billionaire, your experience doesn't count. As Dave Chappelle put it, we are non-playing characters in his giant video game. We are participating in everybody else's dream, and they're telling us their dream is cool. Come play in my dream. How about you play in your dream? Play in your dream. The same tools they are using, you can use. Sun Tzu said it best, know thy enemy. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter if you're sitting back on nothing's going to change. You know what? It isn't about change. It's about you evolving. Here's the thing I know about nature. In nature, nothing in nature is stationary. It is either growing or it is dying. So anytime you say, I'm doing okay, anytime you say, I'm moving along, anytime you say things are going to be just like they are, you're dying. Now is not the time to die. Now's the time to grow. And right now you have an opportunity because now you know what AI is doing. It's bred to work that way. And it's being put into society so that as this is taking place and you see it taking all around, this is step 3. He's already wrecking stuff. Society is pretty much wrecked right now. And I'm not being political. I'm saying, look around. There's stuff going on all over the world. AI is also part of the disruption. And if you're led by fear and you don't take the time to stop scrolling and hear what's going on, you're going to be disrupted, displaced, stripped down, replicated. Then where will you be? Didn't mean to get this preachy. I apologize. But you know what? I don't like what's being done. But as I always say, you can't hate the player. What you can do is understand the game. If you want to understand what's going on and how to function in this new branding of society until it changes or it doesn't, you need to subscribe to Simple Agentics. I've got a lot of tools, a lot of information, a lot of stuff that I'm going to break it down, and only the way Gen X understands and knows. I'm going to break it down for us so that you understand. All those other channels might be giving it to you from different points of view and telling you how to make money, and we're going to talk about that. But you need to understand it from the Gen X point of view, because you, like no other generation on this planet, understands, because you've seen this so many times before. That being said, stay tuned. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in and loaning me your 20 minutes. I'm Keith. I'm out. Have a fantastic day.